All right. Think we're live. Hello again. I am Lone Crow 503, fellow gamers, fellow streamers, and future developers. Welcome. This is episode 2 of my new series where I will be working through the development of a game from the ground up. I wanted Ashira to be here to say hey in the beginning. She clearly does not want to hang out on my lap. Um, but she'll be hanging out here for a bunch of the development today. Hope you guys had a good night last night. My first stream was, well, for this series was yesterday, and that went on pretty late. I won't be going for that long today, as I have a lot of other work that I have to get done that I cannot share with you guys. But for the time being, let's just jump right into it. Let me switch, not there. There we go. And I'm gonna get rid of my background. And bam, there we are. So, oh, I just showed you my NVIDIA broadcast there. So, let's see. Make sure everything's all good. Camera display's good. Can I go? How far this way can I go? All the way to the edge? All right. And with that, yeah. So as you can see, I've got my Unity editor pulled up, leaving off where we were yesterday. Um, and if you can recall, the last thing that we did was we created a character controller that was based on physics that we made ourselves. We created gravity so that when we jump, the player is brought back down to the ground. We also added a double jump feature and fixed some bugs onto the code that the program director was wanting me to write. Since this course, the series is actually a course that I've paid for and am developing alongside the base design for a game dev HQ title. So all of these skills are things that if you don't already know, you can learn from this stuff. Just because you're using something that isn't completely original doesn't mean that it doesn't have value. So, as a new and upcoming developer, which also I'm sorry, Ashira, she loves these things. It's like a bark box. Let's see, do a little shout out. I don't know if you can. Let me get rid of my background removal real quick. These are her favorite toys, hands down. She goes nuts for these. You'll see it says, if you can see it right there, it says Bark. These came in a Bark box, and they actually there were two of them. There still is two of them, but they originally came in a different shape. They had like a wrapping around them, and they're studded and spiky, which she absolutely loves. And they used to squeak. I don't know if you can. Let me see. Scroll this down, make sure I can see my mic audio. Let's see. Yeah, so it just pushes air out now. The other one, I believe, squeaks, but um, those are just she goes ape for those. Um, so she might be making some weird sounds and squeaks and throwing that thing around. She keeps handing it back to me, so yeah, we'll see. But I mean, who doesn't love a super cute puppy adding content to these videos, right? If only she'd pop her face up a little bit more. Actually, just since we all know who the real star of this show is, so let me pop my background removal back up there. Unless, actually, you know what? Uh, I'm blocking the console, uh, which this right here is where errors come up when you're doing your scripting. So say I go Habjubba, I'm going to save that and go back into Unity, and you'll see there's an error that's come up right here above my head. You'll know it's an error because there's a little stop sign with an exclamation point there. So if you click on it, it'll give a description which just explain all this as I wait, hold on. Oh, what? You can see through it too. That's cool. That's cute. Um, move myself out of the way here. Whoa. Yeah, so you can see if you click on it, there's a description that's shown here at the bottom. This one is saying error CS1002, and then it's saying that a semicolon is expected. And so it's trying to say, like, hey, you wrote this completely legitimate statement here, but you forgot to put a semicolon. And so if I put that semicolon, uh, it's gonna realize that that was not actually a good statement, and it's gonna say the name Kajigamaregana does not exist in the current context. And then it says only assignment call increment decrement await new object expression can be used as a statement. So these things are essentially Unity trying to figure out what the heck is excuse me, what the heck is going on with whatever I just typed. And the answer, Unity, is that there is no sense. It was completely illogical. So now that we know how to use the console, I'll move myself back over there like that. And yeah, so I guess I can leave that up there and let you guys kind of, Jesus, a sure cool your jets. See that. I am going to, because I'm uh bougie as hell. I'm gonna add that. Or actually, what about let's make it, there we go. That's the same color as the editor. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go with that one. So I'm actually gonna scoot it over just a touch more. And there we go. So yeah, so we have the character controller here. We have double jump. We can move around. Gravity affects us. We can also fall and die. Although technically, we don't actually die. What you'll see is if I restart this, and we go here, I'm gonna jump off, and we're gonna watch it. If I can do this, it just falls forever. Okay, all the way down there. All right. And back to it. So these little balls here, those are going to become collectible coins, I believe. So let's hop into the next part, which today we're going to start with creating collectible objects. So if you've ever played a game, pretty much any game, where you can pick something up by walking through it. So, for example, the coins on Super Mario. Um, Another example is you'll see health pickups in a lot of games. You'll see secret hidden objects. If you look at Ratchet and Clank, they have the platinum bolts. And just by passing through them, they are picked up, added to an inventory, or added to, your score. Or, for the platinum bolts for Ratchet and Clank, those are specialty items that allow you to unlock, special like cheat codes or, whatever it was. And yeah, so what you'll learn as a game developer is that pretty much 90% of what you're doing is coming up with ways in order to essentially trick your players into thinking that something's going on that's not going on. So, game development is about 90% smoke and mirrors, which means that when you pick up an object, all that's really happening is the object is detecting that the player touched it and then is deleting itself. And then, Shira, go. You're so loud. You're cute. Get out of here. Um, so you touch it, it deletes itself, and then the code says, okay, this has been touched, which means we need to add 10 points to the score or add one coin to your coin count or, whatever. And so, yeah, the logic for getting rid of these little balls here, which I'm going to follow along with the course that I have on my other screen so that I can stay accurate to it. Otherwise, if I kind of go off on my own and develop this just, freehand, then the result could be that the way that I went about it can be conflicting with the way that they go about things later on. And I'll have to end up freehanding a whole bunch of different mechanics into this design instead of just following along with what they have here. So, one more thing before I get started, which is I was listening to music, but since I am not freehand coding and I'm actually playing videos that are instructing me on like some of the directions for this design, I can't. But if you guys want to listen to the music that I was listening to, I believe this will work. I have a public playlist on YouTube, which is just songs that I like that I put on there. I have no intention of like marketing it or whatever. But if you want to hear it, there it is in the chat, the link, which I'm gonna click it and see what happens. Yeah, I believe that worked. So, apart from that, there is also my Discord, which I linked to you guys yesterday, and I still getting used to all. I mean, I use so many different softwares; it is insane. And having to learn every little thing, and then you add streaming on top of that, it gets a little wild. But I'm gonna open up Discord and grab the link for you guys. Um, my channel is Lone Crow 503. You know, gotta represent. And let's see, this should be it. And there it is. So I am in the Dev Chat voice channel. Make sure my audio's all muted. So yeah. Um, Viewers won't be able to hear you if you hop on there, but I'll be able to hear you, and other viewers who are also in there will. But for the live stream itself, you will not be being recorded. You will not be live streamed with your voice or anything like that. Which means if you happen to get any funny ideas and hop on here and start screaming or being racist or whatever, nobody's gonna hear you. So you're not gonna get me banned, and you're not gonna insult anybody. You're just gonna get picked off. Not that any of my lovely viewers are that type of people, but you never know. So for safety purposes, out of respect for you guys, I have modulated that and put those sensors up. So if you guys want to hop on, if you want to chat with me, I'm on the Lone Crow 503 server, and I am on the Dev Chat voice channel. And there's a text channel as well, but I'm going to be having a lot of stuff on my screen. And so the only text chat that I'm going to be actually keeping an eye on is on my live stream, which I'm going to switch over to the multi-stream one so that I can see. I'm currently live streaming on Facebook and Twitch right now. So, whatever your poison is, I should be able to hear you. Oh ho ho. Oh ho ho. I actually need to trim mine. It's getting a little shaggy. Um, Sup, Nate? Welcome to the stream. Guy who I definitely don't know. um, so, uh, for those who don't know who see this chat, Nate is a good friend of mine, and he is a wonderful human being with an amazing family. They're some of the kindest people that I know. So be jealous. Be jealous. So back into this. Got my server up. You guys can hop on and chat with me. You can follow along. You can develop alongside me, or uh, you can just kick back and hang out. But here we go. So collectible objects. Let's see what the instructor wants us to go into. Better than my beard. I think not. So he's mentioned a UI manager, which I don't think he's going to get into. Um, hmm. So let me pause that for a second. So a UI class is essentially if I was to create a script, which a good example here, they don't all do this, but there is one that will. If you name your script Game Manager without a space, because you're not supposed to have spaces in your script names. If you're gonna have a space, instead of putting a space, it's good to put a underscore or a dash. It allows you to make spaces, but that is not best practice, and that can come up with potential errors down the road. So notice how the player script and the game manager script right here have this symbol that looks like a little piece of parchment with a hashtag, or number sign, whatever you want to call it, that sharp symbol. But once I commit this script to being made, you'll see the game manager icon has changed into a gear. So that doesn't mean anything special. It's just something built into Unity where they update that, and it it represents that this is supposed to be a manager class script. So it doesn't change anything. Like I said, it's just aesthetic. You'll see there's no differences between this and what the script started out as. But a manager script is a script that you're gonna create. So if I named this UI manager, which we might make one, we'll see what he does. Um, it's going to cover managing all aspects of UI that we project onto the scene. So it's a form of good management for your scripts, for your design, and it allows you to essentially take your health bar, your high score, all the numbers that need to be updated to it, and kind of consolidate it onto one source script, which you can, since it's going to be the only one of its kind, you can add a bunch of extra features such as singletons to make it easier to call on, be a little bit uh easier on your overall like system use. So when you're making a game, the more complex that you make it, the more you can end up draining data. So if you want super long loading times or you want a lot of lag, then you can do whatever you want. But manager classes, singletons, that type of stuff will help, which it's a lot more advanced than what I would be getting into right now. So I don't believe that's what we're going to get into. But he may be creating a. I don't know if you guys hear. She's just chucking this little cube at me. Shira, she's thrown this at me. Like 20. She just comes over and she just throws it onto my lap. And then I'm just ignoring her. So she walks over, picks it up again, and just keeps doing that over and over. Over and over. If you want this cube, you're going to have to take it. See her little face. Um, as her eyes follow it. uh, we all know who the real star is here. So, the UI manager would most likely be used right here to update a score as you pick up these objects. So he's typing out the pseudocode right now because, as I mentioned in the last session, they go over stuff for like challenges. So, okay. So he's going to say, we're going to make a coin script. This is going to go on to every one of these coins. So I'll open it up there. And then going to drag it onto the collectible. We're going to override this. Hold on, hold on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you can still see this, Nate, but yeah, you're right. Your beard's better than mine. He he's got this just like huge dwarf beard going on. Way more epic. So, I can't think of the word, but a little bit about myself is this is it. This is all I get. So it grows chin strap, and then I get the soul patch. I get the mustache. It doesn't connect. Can't do that. Doesn't grow on my cheeks. Doesn't it grows a little on my neck, but not too much. So this is all I got. I could take the mustache off. I could remove the soul patch, remove the edges, but essentially that's it. That's all I got to work with. And if it gets long, nah, it doesn't look good. You got to be able to have all this stuff on your cheek and your neck, and you got to get it all out there to get a full beard. Otherwise, you get this would just be a thin, scraggly, just mess. So, all right, Ashira, don't want to play with this anymore. Stop it. Put it here. All done. She's very upset. Let's see. You know what I'm gonna do actually? I am gonna put my camera right here for the time being. Look at that dog. Put my blanket down too. So she's just she knows she's on camera. She's looking right where she is on my screen, and she hates being on camera. Um, but okay, so yeah, so we overrode that, and so if you remember from yesterday's session, um, when you apply changes to a prefab, it applies it to all of them. So you'll see that this coin is on every one of these. So although with these two, looks like the coin script is. Ugh, this always drove me nuts. There. Okay, okay. What? All right, hold on. I'm just gonna delete. No, I don't want to delete them. That always drives me nuts. So I'm like super OCD. I I like everything consistent, also just for like organizing purposes. So you'll see right here the rigid body was removed and then re-added for some reason. No idea why. Um, but I want the coin script here at the bottom, and if I try to, it's going to tell me that I can't because you have to open the prefab. And the prefab, it's already there. So yeah, it's gonna bug me. That's just an error. Now, if I restarted Unity as a Shira, it's already gone. Which she's not gone. She's just off camera. She's laying on my feet right now, staring at me. But if I restarted Unity, then it would probably fix that and just update it. I'm sure it'll fix at some point once it like recompiles. If I save and load something. So okay, so with that, we're gonna update all three of these by changing the name to coin, not like that. And then we're gonna override. No? Okay. How about down here? Open prefab. I'm gonna change it to coin, and then enter. Rename file. Correct, sir. And these, just, just no. Delete those. So let's add it back. There we go. And now you'll see they're all going to be like that. Control D is going to duplicate it. We're going to move it over. And then we're going to Control D again. And I'm actually going to move this one up a little so it's not quite in the ground there. Move this down a little. And yeah, so those renamed. Okay. Doesn't look like. Okay. I'm gonna delete these because at least for right now we're not gonna use them, and we're gonna go void on trigger enter, Not 2D. We're going to do 3D, um, which if we did 2D, you'll see, uh, oops. If I did 2D, you'll notice that it actually says Collider and hold on. Got all this stuff going on my ear. So you'll see if I do on trigger enter for 3D, it's going to just say Collider and other. And if I do on trigger enter 2D, it's going to do Collider 2D and then collision. Now, this is just the name. You can name it other. I mean, or you could name it tacos, which we're going to do lowercase. But all that this is the collider. That is the collider of the object that the script is attached to. And then the other, or in this case, tacos, is going to be the other collider. So um, if this is the player and my mouse is the collectible object, then if my player has this script on it, then the collider or collider 2D, if it's 2D, is going to be my player. And the mouse would be other. Now, in this case, you'll see that the script is, as I'm looking for my mouse, is going to be on the coins themselves. So the collider here, since we're not actually doing 2D, the difference is it has to be Collider 2D and then it has to be on trigger enter 2D if it's 2D. Otherwise, yeah. So other is going to be the player. So in here, I'm going to add an if statement to check to see if the object that we collide with is the player. And to do that, if you remember the player object, we added this tag, which is like a label. And so now we're going to use that and we're going to say if, and then in parentheses, other, which is this word right here. Now it's that word right there. Dot. Um, oh my God, my mind's going blank. Other dot tag equals player, and this is case sensitive, so you need to be really careful. Player has to have a capital P and be spelled just like that with any spaces, anything like that, exactly there. If I want to create a new tag, and this one's going to be called, I almost named it tacos again. This one's going to be called donkey. Uh, then it would have to be spelled just like that. And if we remove that, if we added a space, as I said, it will need the space. So if the other tag that this is only upon collision, so you'll notice it says on trigger enter, and that reason is the player, his collider is built into the character controller, but the coin has this sphere collider right here. And you'll notice that the is trigger box is checked for trigger. So what that means, that's actually why, notice if I uncheck this right here and we do a playtest, I'm going to bounce off of this ball as if it's a solid object. See, but these ones, I pass right through. And that's because those are set to trigger and this one's not. So, and if you notice, there's a little gap right there. And that gap has to do with the collider, most likely that's on the player. And the coin, yeah, because they're not actually touching. So that would have to do with the player's skin width, I believe, or the center, the radius, something like that. Radius, it looks like. So if I move that over, now I can get just close enough. Look at them, just best of buds. So let's change that to 0.4 in here. Still touching just a little bit too much. What if we did 0.3? I think that actually I'm doing the opposite, so I'm gonna need to do 0.5. Ooh, 0.5. And never mind. Uh, it was already at 0.5. So you get it, though. You get it. I'm going to change that back to trigger. And what that is going to do is we're going to say if the other tag equals player, destroy this dot game object. And with the Unity version that I'm using, so later versions, in the past you might have had to have done that, but honestly, I could just put game object. And if I type this dot game object or just game object, it's going to do the exact same thing. Um, just like how before I used that exclamation point to do the same thing as saying equals equals false. So we're going to destroy this game object. And what if I wanted to destroy the player? So if you touch that ball is actually a death ball. And death balls kill the player. Then I would just do, if you can figure it out, pause for a second. Other dot game object, because the other object that we're colliding is being stored right here. So it's saying, okay, this object right here is the other object in this equation, and we are going to destroy it because we are a death ball. So let's check it out. Destroy other dot object or other dot game object. It didn't work. And why is that? Other dot tag equals equals player. So I believe they want to update points though, but hold on. Let me just test this out real quick, make sure I'm not messing anything up. This is super simple. I'm thinking of like 20 different things because I'm also trying to explain to you guys. But hold on. So with just game object, you'll see we touch it and it destroys it. And we've got them all. Woo! Woo! So the reason why it's not letting me destroy the other dot game object is because um, I believe it's actually just destroying the collider, because this is saying destroy. Um, should work. Now the issue is probably because the player has a character controller, and destroying other dot game object most likely doesn't work with a character controller, and you have to use something special like destroy other dot character controller dot game object or something like that. So since that was irrelevant, just an example, I'm not going to delve into it much. So we're just going to say this destroys those coins. And oh, he does want us to use a UI manager. So we're going to create that script. We go in here, and we are going to be creating a score. Delete those. And so actually, we're going to remove all this. So he's saying so he's saying to update the coin display through the UI manager, and so that is going to. Oh wait, to get back to his video. So essentially, creating UI elements, which is not what I thought I was going to be going into in this video, is not that complicated. So it's just another thing to kind of think about. Which, although for some of you, if you're just starting, it can be a little complicated, but UI is a fundamental part of like all things game design. And so, uh, like I had mentioned, with your health, with your score, there's always going to be some way in which you're relaying information to the player. And that is UI. So, I mean, even if it's in game, like you hit somebody and it has like 10 pop above their head because you dealt 10 damage, that's floating combat text, and that's a part of UI. And then stuff that's stuck to like the camera, so you always see it, like the health and whatever, or your move set or dialogue or whatever. That stuff is attached to a heads up display or a HUD, which is just a different form of UI. but it's all made pretty much the same. So if you right click here within the hierarchy, you can see there's a section called UI with lots of different objects you can make. You can also click right here and just say UI, and we are going to add text. So, because this is going to be our score. Now, notice as soon as I create this new text object, uh, I ate so much bacon this morning. Yesterday, carrots and broccoli. For breakfast this morning, eggs and bacon and croissants. Okay, so I created my first UI object in the scene, and because I don't have a canvas for it to sit under, because any UI objects have to exist within a canvas. So creating text, it's automatically going to child it, which this is a child object of the canvas. Notice that I can make it disappear like a folder. And the canvas is the parent object of the text. So that term, child parent, is very, very common in development. You're going to hear it all over. And I know that when it comes to layering in like Photoshop, graphic design, modeling softwares, and stuff, they also use the term parent and child. I know they do with 3D modeling and like rigging and stuff when you're animating a model, but I believe they do with Photoshop. And so you're going to hear that term a lot. But the canvas, let's click on that, double click, and boom. See how big that is? It's way over there. Now, way down here, that's where the game is that we're making. You see, as I start to zoom in, I'm going to double click there and it zoom in way over there. Look how big that is. That is the canvas. So whenever you make a canvas, you're going to see that. And you'll see the text right there at the bottom. So we can move that around, do whatever we want with it. And you'll notice down at the bottom, in this game view, you'll see the text moving around. And you'll see if I put it here, even though the game is down here, you'll see it move to the side of the screen. And this box right here, or the canvas, which, yeah, that'll let you kind of see the outline a little bit better, represents the borders of our screen. So one of the first things I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go to Canvas. I'm going to scroll down to the Canvas scaler, and I'm going to change it from constant pixel size to scale with screen size. And we're going to change this to 1920, not 19,120, by 1080. And we're going to match it equally, both width and height by putting that at 0.5. And the referenced pixels per unit, we're going to go to 100. So if you noticed yesterday, I talked to you guys a little bit about graphic design. We talked about base resolutions, and I said usually you'll see it at about 300 or 100. So default for Unity is 100 right here. You can change this to 300 if that's the pixels and graphics you're going to be using. But it's, to my knowledge, not. So I will keep it there. And yeah, I'm also going to change my resolution here to 1080p. So this, if you notice the window down here, changes as I go through this. This is your game's resolution. So this is what you're targeting. So 16 by 9 is essentially a default 1080p. 16 by 9 is more akin to the 1080p resolution for like a phone. But you'll notice it's a very slight change. Or actually, you don't see anything, do you? Nope, you can't tell. I notice right here. Right here, you'll see this shadow. And if I go 16 by 9, see the shadow? 1080p. Oh, yeah. And you want this scale all the way out, because that's just zooming in your game view. But notice how it's all pixelated there. Like that's, yeah, you don't want that. So we're gonna set it to 1080p. You can create your own resolutions and stuff if you want to make for like 4K. And this allows you to check your game. So the canvas scaler though is going to make sure that everything is scaled off of the base design. So if I make everything fit for 1080p and you have a 720p computer or you're on 4K or 8K or a TV or your phone or whatever, it's going to scale accordingly. So maybe later on I can show you guys an example when we actually have more in the UI. She has her toy on my foot, and she's using my foot to hold her toy as she just gnaws on it. Um, and it's so distracting. What are you doing? Why are you spooning my foot? What? You wanna come up here and give me loves? She looks at me like, no, I know what you're gonna do. Come here. Come on, I won't pick you up. Come here. Just right here like this. Oh, I love you, Shiras. Oh, I love you. I know. I know. You're a good girl. But you're distracting. You're so distracting. Her tail's just going. Yeah. Get out of here. Get out of here. I always worry about running over her little toes with my wheels on my chair. Okay, so I don't want to play. I guess now I have to explain that. as as she speaks. I have these which I bought offline, which I'll get the box. Hold on. Hold on. I passed by some ads. Some chick used these to teach her dog how to talk, and I was like, "Hey, my dog's smart. My dog can probably talk." So I went on Amazon and I bought these, and they're just like these little buttons. And there's a red button here on the side. You click and hold it, and it allows you to. You see a little hole right there. You speak into it, and then you can record a little soundbite, such as you saying, and it's hard to make out. It's like really crappy quality audio, but it says play. And then this one says potty. She's got one for food, and she's got other ones. And I've been kind of introducing them to her to try to get her to understand the words. One of the problems is that even if she has to go to the bathroom or she's hungry, if she sees this button, then she gets distracted and then runs over and hits this button, and then Shira, stop. And then she's trying to hit this button in my hand right now. But she runs over and she hits the play button and then brings me her toys. And so she's sitting there and she's like, "Oh, I need to go to the bathroom." And like, she's my dog. I know her well enough to know her signs. And so I can tell she needs to go to the bathroom. But when she goes to ask me, she looks over and she sees the play button and then she hits that. And then she looks at me and she's like, "Oh, now he's going to play with me." And it's like, no, you need to ask to take a piss, dog. But so she's trying to play with me. So she's hitting the play button. And I have one over here that says "I love you," uh, and that essentially means that like she wants some loves. She wants to be held and pet and loved on. And now she's sniffing them all, and she's gonna. Oh no, she's gonna come back over here. Probably gonna throw her toy at me again. So. Okay, UI manager. So yeah, so we've got text here. We can zoom in here. So much aspects to UI. That's why I wasn't going to get into it yet. But so let's see what happens if we want to change the font size. So it gets bigger and it gets bigger, it gets bigger, and then it disappears at 30, right? So we can get it at 18, get it at 20, get it at 5, super tiny, but now it's disappeared. And the reason is because if it gets so big that it's going to go out of this box, then it won't last. And so we get the box bigger, it'll scale, and now see they're just disappearing bit by bit. But the way to fix that is you'll see right here there's the horizontal overflow and vertical overflow. So if you change those for like the vertical one, I'm going to leave that at truncate and whatever the heck that means. Essentially means cut it off. You'll see it can go over horizontally, but it cuts off as soon as it's going to go over vertically, which that didn't even look like it was cutting it close, but it felt like it was, and so it stops. So if I change that, so they both are, then I can just do whatever I want, and there's no issue. But then you got this tiny little text box, this giant font size. Nah, no. So, uh, yeah, I'm going to change that. And one of the reasons why you would do that is because um, sorry, I got distracted. So, one of the reasons that you would want to do that is because if you're going to end up with like text coming up and you don't know how much text somebody's going to put into, or you create a high score and maybe the player gets such a high score that the number goes off. Now, you should plan for this, but if there's ever a situation in which you don't know if it's going to have more than you're planning, then you can allow it to overflow. Otherwise, you'll just adjust the box accordingly. And yeah, so this is going to be actually kind of a smaller box. We're going to go into, oh, another thing, which just ignore the event system. When you create your canvas, it'll also create this. The event system is what allows you to press buttons and do different stuff within the UI. I've never actually messed with the event system so far. Um, it does its own thing. So you'll notice that a regular object just says transform, but an object that's a UI object says rect transform. And because you're getting wrecked, fool. Uh, now, so uh, that's just a type of transform that's affiliated with the UI objects. And so we're going to choose this, and I'm going to choose the top right, which is an anchor point. You'll see this little, looks like the kind of like the umbrella symbol from Resident Evil. That's what that makes me think of. But you'll see that change. And so what if we put it over here top left? Boop, it's over there. Let's put it in the center. Boop, there it is. And that way its coordinates are always based on that location. So I'm going to drag that over to the top. Let's actually lower it down a little bit. I'm going to change this font size to, say, 50. Um, bring it here. And we're going to say score and like 10, 20, 30. Now, if you see how when I type here, it's updating that. And so what we're going to be doing is making it so that this score starts out at like 0. And when you pick up an object from script, we are going to call on this text component within the canvas, and we are going to change the text accordingly to reflect how many points you just picked up and what your total score is. So that is where this is all going to go into. So let's see what he does here. Good girl, Lashira. Good girl. Stay down there. So far he's done everything that I'm doing, or everything that I've done. Okay. He wants to add a new method. So, what's going on here is we're only going to be picking up one coin at a time. And so, plus plus means the exact. So, once again, there's so many different ways to do everything in code. And so, when you type plus plus, you're saying add one. So, it's the same thing as saying plus equals one. And you could also do equals plus one. It's all the same thing. Coins plus plus means take whatever coins is and add one to it. So coins is an integer, which means it is a yes whole number. Like Dora the Explorer today. Woohoo! Um, That'd be an interesting way to go about this. Like, do you know what the int value is? It's a +1, and that wasn't supposed to be Dora, just for the record. uh, she's pouting. She's laying on the floor behind me. So, yeah. So this is an int value, which means it is a whole number, not a decimal. So if I try to say coins, plus equals 1.5, oops, you'll see there's an error. And you can't have a decimal number without labeling it as such. So if I put an F, that means 1.5F, which is how you would normally write it if it was a float. And you'll see that it's saying it's wrong. So cannot implicitly convert type float to int. Unless you cast it. So that's not what we're going to go into. But you'll see if I change this right here to float, now, boom, all good. But if I take this F away, and it's wrong. So you cannot have a float number. Let's see what it says. So cannot implicitly type double to float. An explicit conversion exists. Are you missing a cast? So it's trying to read this 1.5 as a double number, which remember, that's like a super big decimal number, which that is not, which is why we put that F at the end to name it a float. But once again, all of that is just as examples for you guys, um, because I love you guys so much and you deserve all the knowledge. So, yeah, let's see. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so, this is saying right here, we've just created a method that says, add one to your total coins. So this is gonna essentially represent your score for how many coins you have. This is what's gonna add one when you pick it up, and then this is gonna be on the coin itself. So we're going to actually here we're gonna take that other object and we are going to get a component out of it, which is the player script. Notice this is called player. And then we are going to get the, oops, dot, yeah, add coins. And yeah, so right there, I am grabbing this method, the add coins method, from the player, which means that if you detect the player, then it's going to grab that and it's going to give you the coin. Now, a get component command actually takes up a good chunk of like memory and stuff. It's not so significant now. It's not going to be a big deal. Even if I left this in at the end of the game, it's whatever. But for best practices, which I am going to assume he does at some point, would be to declare it up here and just call it once. Although then every single instance of the coin would do that at the very beginning, so it'd make for longer load times if you have a lot of coins. And so, yeah, you would want to create a yeah, you'd want like a singleton or a static variable. What you could also do is up here you could say private confuse myself for a second. Game object, and we're gonna say, oh wait, no. We're gonna say private player, and so this right here is the name of the script. And then we're going to say void start, like that. And if you remember, that was one of the default methods that came with the script when we initially opened it. And we are going to say that underscore player equals get component T bracket player open close parenthesis semicolon. And then instead of doing that right there, it would just be done in the beginning. And so then you'd say like if other.tag equals player, then you could, instead of doing that, you could go underscore player dot add coins, and you'll notice that it comes up right there. And the reason for that is because we have made that connection to the other script. So we are not going to do it that way. It's going to be pretty much just as taxing. So we'll keep it right there for now. And let's see what he wants to do. Oh yeah, no, he as soon as I hit play on the video again, he's like, this is poor practice. Oh, the other reason too is because if for some reason, which should never happen, but this script is not on the player, then this would break the game. It would cause a huge bug that would like crash it. It wouldn't work. So, but then again, if you don't have the player script, you're not moving, so the game would already be broken. Something else would have gone wrong. Ah, I see how he's going about it. So, uh, the other way to do this too is, I mean, he's doing the same thing. We're just getting ready to do the same thing that I just showed you guys, but in a different way. So we're gonna say player, player. This is not up there as private. We're gonna say equals that, and then down here we're gonna do a null check. So if player equals null, then we can do a debug.log, but we're actually going to do it like this. We're going to say does not equal null, and then from there we're going to say player dot add coins. And then yeah. So now just to explain this, oops, go here. Okay, so you collide, and upon entering, so upon the player entering the coins collider, you're going to check to see if the object that just collided has a label or tag of player. And then we're going to assign the other object that was just discovered. We're going to get the player script off of that object, and we're going to save it, and we're going to name it player. And so then, so long as player is not equal to null, which means so long as that the player script exists, then we're going to access that player script, and we're going to access the method add coins, which is going to add 1 to our coins. And then we're going to destroy the coin object. So with that, that's all good. That works. But now we're going to have to update the score that's actually going to show on the screen. So, see how he goes about it. So he's going to make a public void update coin display. Oops. But then he is, hold on. It's going to add parameters for int coins. And then here. So, okay. Notice that is the name of the UI manager script. Name it that. Okay, and with that, we're going to say that the UI man. Why is that not coming up? Ah, my bad. The UI manager is going to equal get component, similar to what we did with the other thing, UI manager. But then we're going to, oh, that's right. So this actually wouldn't work. Now, even though it says that it's all working, this wouldn't work because the UI manager script is actually not attached to the player. And this is just saying this is in the way it's written is actually asking uh, for this. It's trying to get it off of the object that the script is attached to, which this is the player script. And so we have to find that first. And so we are going to use game object dot find, which is going to find an object by its name. And this is a dangerous thing to do because if you change the name of UI manager, which is what uh, in this case we're saying canvas. So I mean, if you renamed this canvas uh, to anything else, if you just named it to Canvas One, or if you named it to UI Canvas, or whatever you wanted to do, then this is gonna break. And so that's why find game object with tag, which is another option you can do. So you can say find game object with tag, and then there's game objects, plural, with tag. Um, but you can do that, and then this is looking for something with the tag canvas, but he wants to call it by name. So that means you have to keep that in mind and make sure that you do not end up changing that name without updating the script. So yeah. And so now we're gonna say UI manager dot update coin display. And now it's gonna say that this is wrong. And the reason why this is saying that it's wrong, because this is all typed right, is because we added that parameter right there. So if I actually delete this, now it's going to say it's correct. But we want for the update coin display because when we're calling on it, we want to add the newest amount of coins that we have. And so we're going to go in here and we're going to say update coin display with our underscore coins. So the total number of coins that we have is going to be sent over as it's updated with each new one to right here. And you'll see how it's correct now. So then in here, this is in the UI manager where we're actually going to update our text object. So, ah, but for best practices, we are wanting to go here. So if the UI manager equals null, then we are going to not do that. Then we are going to debug.log that, hold on. He's creating his UI stuff now, which I already did. So debug.log, the UI manager equals null. And then we're going to end that with a semicolon. I'm going to say is null. And then let you guys get a good look at me scratching my ear. I'm actually like allergic to this fake leather. And so these are the PlayStation Gold headset for the PS4. And they have like this pleather stuff or, whatever it is. And I had to clean it really good after I got it, but every once in a while it'll give me little red bumps, make them a little bit itchy. But it's not my favorite material. Okay, so he's creating text, um, and he is naming it coin text, and now, uh, you put the underscore text, with the lowercase t, and this is just saying essentially this is a text object. So, because if I change it to coin, you're passing through this and you're like, this could be a panel, this could be an image, it could be a button, it could be a slider, it could be, all kinds of stuff, but this is a text object. So it is going to be coin instead of coin text. We're going to say coin text like that. So he's doing his with a font size of 24. Oh, no, 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 no. But that's the other thing, too. That's the other thing to take into consideration. So this 1080p with the night 16 by 9. Uh, oh, dang. Look at how that just got blurry like that, though. Youch. Um, but okay, so I'm going to go back to 50 with that. Uh, hmm. So we're going to attach the UI manager to this canvas here. And he's going about this a bit differently than I am. So he put which with nothing substantial, he anchored his to the top left, and he put his like here. I don't know why. I am assuming he'll change it. But hopefully that won't cause an issue for me. And one reason to do that too is so notice that my score, how I have it right there, that's actually wrong. Because what happens if I picked up 100 coins? Notice how it went away, right? That's because it is off canvas right there. Also, the horizontal overflow is not set to overflow. So, but check that out. It's getting cut off. I don't want it to get cut off. So, I mean, I could pull it that way. We have room. So then how much are we accounting for? What if I had 1,000 coins, 10,000 coins? What if there's a comma there? Does it still look good? Yeah, it looks good. Looks okay. But now it's sitting there on the ball. And all right, so now we're gonna get into namespaces. So, and I'm technical terms is technical terms are something that I'm still learning. There's like a bajillion of them out there in the industry. So, essentially, uh, I see Ashira taking a nap over there behind me. Uh, so essentially, uh, there's so many keywords that you're going to learn, you're going to use in the industry from, things like best practices, like I've been saying, to, class, method, function, string, Boolean, all these different words and terms that can be really overwhelming and confusing when you first start out. That's how I felt, and I'm going to assume that's how everybody feels. And it's kind of a hump that you have to get over that can take some time, but it's just a matter of repetition, and it's a lot like learning a new language. So, which learning computer language is a new language, but it's like instead of saying, okay, you have nouns and pronouns and verbs, you have methods and functions and statements and namespaces. So up here at the very top of our script where it says using system.collections or using system.collections generic, these are namespaces. And what these do is these allow us to access uh, these allow us to access the library within the Unity database so that you sorry, I can't help but laugh. So, uh, in the chat on Facebook chat, it says Terry Reed says this is great. I'm just learning how to do this, and you are the first person who made it clear to me. So, as you guys know, my name is Adam Reed. I'm Lone Crow 503. So, it's there's a lot of people out there, uh, but that's yeah, it's definitely my mom. So, I think she's trying to give me a shout out, make me feel better. So, thank you, mother. So, the namespaces that we're adding up here allows you to access the library of terms and stuff that is being used. So, if we took out using Unity Engine, then the terms that is just Unity specific, such as the transform vectors and things like that, it's not going to recognize those words in your program, and it's going to come up with that little red underline. It's going to say that you're wrong. So, in order to access the aspects of Unity that uses UI, you have to use the using Unity Engine dot UI namespace. And that is going to allow us to access that text, which we otherwise wouldn't be able to. And so let me show you guys what I mean. So we're going to create a private text and see how it turns that greenish color. So say underscore because it's a private variable coin text, and this is gonna not exist. If I take that away, it's gonna say, hey, the heck's a text? You can't send texts. This is class. Get out of here. But now I can, because now I got a cool teacher, and his name is Lone Crow 503. And his mom sends him inspiring messages on his live streams with her name right there. I'm sorry, it's just really funny to me. Okay, serialize field. That way we can View that while it's in the inspector, and we can see. Oh, yeah. Notice there's a little star right here too. That means your script is not saved. So I'm going to save those scripts, and now we'll see here in the inspector. If we go to the canvas where we attached our UI manager, you can see coin text. Also, as another side note, you'll notice that it says coin text with a capital C, capital T, even though I typed uh, underscore coin text with a lowercase c and no space. Notice it got rid of the underscore, made this an uppercase, and added a space just to make it easier to read, easier to understand. Um, that's how I would want it to look in the inspector. And so that was something that kind of pissed me off when I was starting to learn because I'm like wanting to type it like that, but you're not supposed to. But how I was saying, like not adding spaces there and whatever, and notice right there, that's an error. So because it's trying to read that as another text object, so you got to be careful. Everything's case sensitive in this. Just assume it always is. So now that that is there, which let me just go over real quick that if we take away the serialized field and save it, doing Control S to save, you will see that it is not visible there. And just by adding the serialized field, it is now visible. And that is going to allow us to drag and drop in this text component right there. And that creates a direct reference so that now we can say underscore coin text equals coins. Not like that. And why, oh why, oh why? Because this is text and this is an int. That's why. So you cannot turn a text object into an int object, but we can cast it as a string. So give me 1 second. Let me make sure I'm doing it the way that he wants to do it. It's going to say underscore coin text dot text, and then it is going to equal, and then by creating these little orange parentheses here, this is creating text. And so you'll see that everything I type in here is orange like that. And we can even add the semicolon. And it's like, hey, you know what? That looks good to me. And if we go into the game and we hit play, mm, player, object reference not set to the instance of an object. What did I do? 19. Private UI manager equals find canvas dot. Oh, see how I spelled that? Canvas. So that's supposed to be CANVAS, and I spelt it wrong. Great example of where case sensitive matters. So now we clear that, and there's no more errors. Although we were in the middle of a playtest, so let's go through that again. And it says coins. Yeah, so that happened here. And with that, we are going to say coins, and then we're going to leave a space there. And then we're going to add a space there. We're going to say plus coins. And that should be it. And then some people, I keep seeing in the company that I work with, when I look at other people's scripts, um, I always see them using the toString, right? Coins dot to string, and then you got the open and close parentheses there, and it's going to do the same thing. Like you don't need to do that. Everybody uses all this extra stuff, and it's because it's legacy framework stuff, and so essentially what that means is like when Unity version 5 was out, they had certain terms, certain things that were just commonplace, common practice. And move my camera down again. So some of that carries over, some of it doesn't. And so you can still use it, but it's not necessary. They have easier and more shorthand ways of doing it. Like instead of saying, if taco equals false, you just say if exclamation point tacos. Same thing, shorter to write, but you just got to remember that an exclamation point before something means negative. So when you're dealing with Boolean variables. All right. So then, yeah, let's test this out. Now we can jump around. Boom, we got 1 coin. Boom, we got 2 coins. 3 coins. All right. And there it is. I'm actually going to do one thing real quick. hmm And I'm going to take this one, which these. Let me pause this video. So these little things up here in the toolbar, they help you out with moving your stuff. And so this is like a hand tool, is what it's called, and it's for scrolling. If you click and hold, it just pans the camera. Well, pans the screen, not the camera object or anything. And then this one adjusts the transform. So this object, I'm selected on it. You're going to see that object switches around depending on what I'm selected on. And if I move this, if you watch the transform X location, as I grab the red arrow, which is the X one, you'll see X is red, Y is green, green. You'll see that it actually changes accordingly. So that is a transform editor in and of itself. And then this is a rotate tool. And as you can imagine, it rotates. This is a scaler, does the scale, and you'll see the scale adjusts. And then this one is like it's a rect tool, and so this one scales it based on like a 2D plane. See that? It's more so used for 2D stuff. I use it all the time though. And then this one puts it all together. So you've got the transform, you've got the rotations, and then you've also got the scales, I believe, right? No, I don't even know what that is. The heck is that? Well, whatever. Usually for scaling, they have those little boxes. What was it? There's a way to change those. From these to the scaling ones, I can't remember. Oh well. Control, shift. No, shift reverses it. Alt. No, control and shift. Control and alt. Alt shift. No. Cap lock. No. Okay, whatever. But I just wanted to grab this one. Let's go here. Click on this guy. Orient my camera back around, and making sure that we're all good. I'm gonna lower that just a bit. Mm, I still want you to have to double jump to get up there. But I want to move this out of the way so it's not so blocking the score. And then also, something we can do is we can grab this scaler and just scale this into 0.1. Just been waiting for this to happen in there. And then we are going to apply those overrides so they're all like that. And then I'm going to create a new folder. And we're going to call this materials. So, material is kind of like how you color and shade an object. So, we're going to create a new material and we're going to name this coins. And this we're going to go into, you'll see it right here. We are going to drag and drop it onto the coin prefab, which should update all of them. Maybe. Well, drag it up here, and I'm going to apply. What? What? Okay, so let's do this. Should see it with this guy. I'm going to make it gold. So let's see. Gold is not quite so shiny. It's slightly orange, or not. Whatever. So then we're going to make it more metallic. Let's zoom in on this from the other side where there's better lighting, maybe? No? The other thing too is you can see, let me reset that and drag this guy up. You can see the material right here. So we're going to bring the smoothness up and make it real shiny like that. Too smooth and it looks black. Not smooth enough, it's not right. And then let's make it a little bit brighter. So, I'm gonna add, I might have to, this might be messing stuff up, but whatever. I'm gonna add a directional light. And, oh, bring it back, bring it up, bring it over. Let's see. No shadows, intensity, directional. Let's make it a point light. No. Uh, there's a way to change it so that it's like trying to think of the term, like orthographic. You see it? Look how pretty that coin up there looks now. Well, let's do that. Key. Although some of them are picking up more light than others. See that? Well. So I haven't done as much work with lighting. You can change the color of it that it's casting. So see how it's got, all of that. And a point for that could be that, maybe it's like moonlight, and you want a little bit more of a bluish hue to it, or, whatever you're doing, or you want it to, look like it's like nighttime, or maybe you want it to look like it's the Matrix, uh, whatever you're doing. And, eh, I'll keep it at that. Now we got some gold coins though. And I'm going to change this coin to be point zero one. Make them super thin. Hmm. Damn. Uh, how they catch more light or less light. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. All right. We'll keep it at that. Continuing on. Wait, what? It says playing Fortnite. Hold on, hold on. Let me check that. Hmm. Uh, what? Well, shouldn't be saying that. Let's see. If I can even figure out how to get to my page. Hmm. Why does it say playing Fortnite? Well, thank you for letting me know. Uh, that's pretty lame. I made sure to change that so that it wouldn't shouldn't say that. Pretty positive it didn't say that yesterday. Also, I saw my Facebook stream and I saw that everything was fine for the audio sync. I'm trying to look at Twitch right now to see if my audio sync is fine. Yeah, it looks okay. But I gotta hear myself, talk to myself, look at myself, and look all weird. Duh. Twitch though. Yeah, Twitch is correct. Hmm. Just Facebook. Let's figure that out. Oh well. Yeah, I saw the description and everything, and I said it all. It didn't have an option to select a different game for my stream though. The only way for me to change it now is to end my stream, which I'm not gonna do just to update it. If people pop in here and they are like, "Hey, is this Adam playing Fortnite again? I gotta see the Lone Crow play," and then they're like, "No, he's not playing Fortnite." As a matter of fact, you know what? I will end this stream with at least a game of Fortnite. I haven't played in a long while. I didn't play the last expansion. I didn't play this expansion, but I'll throw it up on there at least for a game, and then we can justify it. Uh, let's see. What do we got here? Um, how much have I? Oh, Well, uh, yeah, I guess the that is it for the collectibles part of it. So we've got all that done. We've got these golden coins, which we can now pick up. We got double jumps. No, can't quite reach it from there. And yeah, in that same sense, that's how you create a high score. So you can create something to where you say, like the coin's value, and you can create different valued coins. I could go down here and say that so coins plus equals 10. And then if we go in here, we'll see that we're going to get 10 coins, 20 coins, 30 coins. Um, and this is also how you heal yourself. So when you want to regain health, when you want to regain mana, when you want to add bullets to your clip, all kinds of different parts of gaming that this is gonna be a part of. And so collectible objects. I actually created a companion system for one of the games that I'm working on with a company that I'm working for, to where for testing purposes in the actual game it's not included, but I made it to where I created little objects in the world, and when you pick them up, it adds a companion to your companion menu, and it unlocks it, which you can then go into the menu and add that companion to your party, where then they follow you around and they fight with you, blah blah blah, um, game stuff, and doubloons. Pirate coins are called doubloons. Although pirates were famous for stealing everybody's coins, so I guess it depends on whose coins they stole. But the Spanish, like Caribbean pirates and things like that, those were called doubloons. It's like the typical term. And so, yeah. So Terry said you can make gold and silver coins and whatever pirate coins are called and give them different values. Yes, you absolutely can. And so if I wanted to add another script which I could drag on, which could be for the coins. Say we could create a private void underscore coin ID. Not void. Sorry, private int, and then we would make that serializable. Mm. So that way we can edit it in the inspector, which is why when we go here, we see under the coin script, now there's a coin ID. And so then here, you would say player dot add coins, uh, but we're going to go here and we're going to add a parameter, which is going to be int ID. And we're gonna say um, yeah, I'll just call it ID. I don't like that it's two capitals like that. It's, I don't know, it bugs me. But yeah, so you just do that, and then right here it's saying that's wrong unless you add something. And so this, we're gonna say player dot add coins. But we would create another if statement in here, and so we're going to say like if, or actually it'd be better if we used a switch statement. So a switch statement is similar to an if statement in the sense it's a little tool you can use as a developer. Um, and so we're going to say switch, and then we're going to say, hold on 1 second, I need to pull something up. Um, So, I just need just a quick. So this is a big part of computer programming. So when you are dealing with so many different things, you're going to constantly have to look things up. I just got a message from work, but that's all good. So you have to switch things up, and so for this, uh, I'm like, hey, how do I do this? Wait, is this going to show my Google history right here, so you guys all know what I'm doing? Yes, I want to buy a new tea kettle. Um, and I was curious when we were making the character controller. I was like, how is it that the character controller knows if you're touching the ground or not? Because honestly, right here, it's saying if. Ooh, hold on. Actually, I'm not gonna get on a tangent here. Uh, uh, so yeah, I was trying to look that up. So switch statements, Unity, Atom. It's gonna come up. Bam, there it is. So this is the best reference online. Uh, this is what it would look like if you did it with an if else statements. And then here's what it looks like with a switch statement. And so we're going to go back in here. I just want to look at that for like half a second to be like, wait, how do I do this again? I say switch and then I say int. And then we are going to say, and it's going to say it's wrong until we add a like a break. And so let's pull not that this up, and then we can do that. And so yeah, so we're gonna say switch int, and then not those. Yep. We're gonna say case 0. So if the int ID equals 0, then we are going to say let's just do that so it stops saying it's wrong. Whoa, hold on. Oh, it needs an int. My bad. So the coin ID is an int value. So we're gonna put it in there. Now you don't have to use an int. You could use floats. You could use a number of different things. But or no, I think you do need to use integers. Yeah. So if the ID equals 0, then what we're gonna do is we are going to do player.add coins. Oops. And we're going to say 0. And then we're going to, just to make this go by quicker, we're going to add a couple different IDs. And so we're going to say, because remember what I told you guys yesterday, is that a lot of things in programming start at 0. They don't start at 1. And so you have to take that into mind, otherwise you're going to mess stuff up. And we can also use default. So if I use the case default, which means anything else. So if it came up as 42, then you'd be good. But so what this is going to do is this is going to determine that you add coins based on an ID, which will then we could do I'm trying to think of how to simplify this. So essentially then you do like if ID equals 0, then the coins plus equal 1. And then if you have it directly beneath the if statement, you don't need the brackets, the curly brackets. But then you'd say like else if ID equals 1. And notice that this is similar to this right here in what we're doing. See? So ID is just an int. So we're creating another switch statement. And so this can be done in essentially the exact same way that we just did this. And neither one is necessarily like better than the other. If you've got like a ton going on here, then you're going to end up wanting to use a switch statement. But if you just have like 10 or 15, you're fine. Um, yeah, I could. I don't really Google anything that like I'm concerned about. So, yeah. Also, I have my Lone Crow right there. So, as I show my email, but I have the Lone Crow email and stuff that I can go on to, and it'll change stuff. But like, it's fine. I don't care. I don't care if things get wild. I'll change my email. So yeah. So then, if the ID equals one, then underscore coins equals well plus equals five. Um, and then I'll say else if uh, ID equals two. This is going to be the final one that we'll do. Then underscore coins whoa, plus equals 10. So yeah, now if we go back into Unity, um, then we can, since each coin has a different instance of the script, I can say this one equals 0, this one equals 1, and then this one equals 2. And maybe I want to duplicate these materials, and then this one I'm going to make silver, and this one I'm going to make purple. So then they all have the same material on them right now. So I'm going to drag the different materials. And there's the 3 coins. So now if we pick up the coin with the ID 0, it's going to give us 1, which is going to be this silver one right here. So now we got 1 point. Now we get the gold coin. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now, why didn't that work? So plus equals UI manager coins. So notice that these changes that I made, I got rid of the update to the UI manager. So wait, did I? Did I? Yeah, I did. UI manager update coin display coins. Uh no, that should work. Plus equals 1, plus equals 5, plus equals 10. I didn't save my script. Rookie mistake. 1. What? What? Okay, hold on. Let's see this. Um, int ID, add coins. Right here, put them all as 0. Forgot to update that, so there. And so now when it calls it, it's going to fill in this number for what the ID is because it's requiring, in order to call this method, you have to have an integer value and it's going to go into the parameter ID. And so then this is checking to see what that ID equals. So now it's going to work. Now it's going to work. 1, 6, and 16. All right. And if we can make, as many of those as we want, we can duplicate them around and toss them all over. Looks like up here in the scene view, we have another platform there, but we can't see it in the game because the camera's not following us as I die. But I can still get over there. I can still get over there. Let's see. Ha! And I'm back. So, uh, yeah. Now, I don't think that that's gonna break the game too much from what I had. Um, it's yeah. I mean, I can keep it. I am gonna change this to a switch statement though. Let's just. It's not. If you're learning, it's good to retype stuff instead of copying and pasting it. Uh, and so then case. So if ID equals 0, then that's right. Underscore coins plus equals 1. Otherwise, underscore coins is going to equal 5. Otherwise, it's going to equal 10. And yeah, bam, there you have it. So you could name these instead of like coin 1, coin 2, and coin. We can name this. Which one is that even? So regular coin is silver coin. So then we are going to come into the material and we're going to name it silver coin underscore mat. And then this guy right yeah, the let's call it the amethyst coin underscore mat. Amethyst is a rare gem that is purple in color sometimes. And then we have the gold coin underscore mat. So remember how we named the something somewhere underscore text? It's because it's a text object. So these are materials. And so it's just, good practice. So maybe I'm like, hey, gold coin, right? And I'm searching that in my project. And maybe it's this gold coin. So this is a silver coin. This is a gold coin. And this is the amethyst coin. And we're going to delete this prefab. And I'm going to create 3 new prefabs. It's not liking me doing that. So let's just go silver coin, drop it in there, gold coin, drop it in there, and amethyst coin, drop it in there. I'm going to create a new subfolder. We're going to call this collectibles. And we're just going to put those all in there. So that way our platform and those are separated because we're going to have other objects in there. And yeah, now you can just drag and drop these in and you'll just have a bunch more. And they're going to all keep the same parameters. They're going to stay consistent and you'll have all your coins that you can place throughout your level. But yeah, so how this is amethyst coin underscore mat, this just says amethyst coin. Maybe I was wanting to find the material, but I look at this and I'm like, well, what is what? And it's like, oh, well, this one's a prefab asset and then this one is a material. So although you can see that, it's just like I said, best practices. So I am getting more and more messages on my Discord. So oh my goodness. My goodness. Okay, so yeah, with that, we've created a series of different coins. And remember, this type of behavior is stuff that you can do um, to create health pickups. You can use ammo pickups. If you go over to my GitHub at GitHub slash, I believe it's Adam W Reed 93. Yeah, right here. Post this in the chat on Twitch. I can't post in the chat on Facebook, and I believe it's because Facebook it's all it's like comments. But yeah, so github.com slash Adam W Reed 93. And you can see my public repositories, and I have a couple games in there that you can download the EXEs for and play them. One of them is a space shooter, kind of like Space Invaders, and I bet you won't be able to beat the boss on the first try. It's completely possible, but it's a bit tricky. It took me a number of tries for sure. So, and I already know all of his moves. Uh, which, if you know his moves, he's a lot easier. But man, he still gets me. So, uh, yeah. So, on that game, I use a lot of power ups, including like a super beam. I use heat seeking missiles. There's ammo pickups, health regeneration, shields. And I create all of those different things using a switch statement with an ID factor, but instead of for coins, I use it for power ups and pickups and stuff. And it's funny, I see viewers popping on, and they're I don't know if they're old viewers, people who are used to watch me play Fortnite, and they're like, "Oh, is he playing Fortnite?" And it's like, "Oh, nope." uh, but I think that a lot of my viewers who watched me play Fortnite watched on Twitch, which I believe that is accurate right now. But for those who are getting confused, I'm sorry. I will try to do better on that update next time. Uh, yeah, but let's continue. I need to technically I need to type an article up now on creating collectible objects in Unity, which I've already started it right here, and I can continue that on my time. But yeah, so I believe I told you guys that I would play some Fortnite, and so I am going to close this up. And remember, making sure everything's saved. When you're done working, or when you've reached certain milestones, it is a really good thing to do to go to GitHub. Well, GitHub Desktop. Or if you're a terrorist, Git Bash. Which, by the way, Git Bash looks like this. And it's like you're hacking. You're like, I don't remember how to use it. You're like $list slash slash da 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 da. And see, it's just like, I don't even know. I don't even remember. I use this because it's a super longhand way to do all this. But I guess apparently the point of Git Bash is this allows you to completely navigate your computer uh, without ever having to click on stuff and use your mouse. So you can just sit there and type, and it'd be the same thing as opening up a file and then opening up another file and then another file and whatever. So if I go Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to go into my D&D file, and I want to go into the Dungeon Masters file, go into my campaigns, see the Sylvan Empire campaign, which is what I run on Thursdays, although we're taking a couple week break. But yeah, and I want to go into my players, and I want to check out this player. I could navigate through all of that with out ever touching my mouse, and I could do it if you're quick enough within seconds using Git Bash, which you can also use it to update your repositories. But let's go in here and let's do our update, final update for the day, and say uh, we added collectible coins along with coin variations that a lot different values. And period and commit. And you'll see right here, there's 22 changes. We can select changes that we don't want to commit. I want to commit all of these. These are all, fine. And some of these are deleted. Some of these are not. And we are going to then hit commit. And now you're going to see it wants to push to origin. Last time you saw me click this button, this time I'll click this one. See, it does the same thing. That even looks like it got pushed. And then, yeah, it's done. Now, this time around, I'm actually not going to go into main and merge this with main. I'm just going to keep it as it is. And I'll usually, when I reach like really big milestones, that's when I'll do a merge. But otherwise, yeah, I try to keep them kind of separate so that just in case something is wrong and I don't know for sure, I'll be fine. Because I could very easily add the collectible object again, and I might have to go back and take away all the extra stuff, but I don't think I should have to. So, yeah. With that, let's pop into Fortnite. Now, I do have work to do, and I can't hang out and play for too long, but I can play a match or two, although I'm probably going to die right away. Let's see. Make sure my controls are working. I did not approve you doing an update. So this is what I use for gaming. It's my Razer Tartarus V2. And it has little joysticks here on the side, buttons. Here's my space bar, fully customizable keys, which I hotkey. And it essentially represents the whole left side of my keyboard, except everything's put in really convenient places. So instead of the default for PC when you're aiming with Fortnite, you aim with your right mouse and then use your left mouse to fire. I aim with this button, and then my right mouse, I believe, picks stuff up. I'm gonna turn my audio on now. What? So now you guys can hear.
While the island is certainly no stranger to strange phenomena, never before have we seen anything quite like this.
Superman. What, Galaxis? Oh, and they got Rick. I love that, though. Oh, no, is he gonna do the Rick dance? Now I'm gonna be pissed if this is gonna do what the last season did, where it made me play for like a half an hour in some little thing before I was able to actually play the game. Tell me it's not gonna do that.
We now stand at the brink of war. With an enemy we do not understand. We face impossible.
I do need to get my keyboard up, though.
A reason to fight!
Come on.
Or you're a visitor from another star.
See, this is one thing I hated about
This
Fortnite.
island is ours.
Like, yeah,
If it's war
I know you guys
want,
worked really hard on this
we'll
cinematic,
give
but
it to
you know,
us.
sometimes people just don't have time, or don't want to sit there and play your shit or watch your stuff, So, sorry, but That's what it is. And this thing's messing up. It just forced an update without asking me, and then tell me that, okay. You know, it said everything was tab. So, all right. I do want Rick, but no, thank you. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Jesus. All right, we're back on some Fortnite. I'm gonna switch over on my channel to the game chat. Pop my Discord up, make sure I can see everything, and yeah. Oh, let's do a little bit of this.